Germany had just lost World War I, so the rest of Europe was sending them Venmo requests for reparations. They had a lot of debt. They had food shortages. They had political deadlock. Plus ça change, plus ça même chose. The year before, 1920, German police murdered 42 left-wing protesters outside the Reichstag, the German parliament. There was a right-wing coup called the Kapp Putsch, which was overthrown after a few days by a general strike. The striking workers decided, hey, we quite like being in charge of our own lives, so they took over an area of Germany called the Ruhr before being absolutely brutally put down by the government they had just saved, working with some of the right-wing forces that launched the coup. So if the social contract...
Okay. We have to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Because it's a bunch of lies?
Well, it's what she always does. Okay, it's not a lie. It's let me frame this in the most leftist possible way and remove all of the context that explains what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happened? Because basically she lays out this. Oh, there's these innocent lefties, and then these evil right wingers come and they attack them and they take over the government, and then the righteous lefty, socialists rise up and they kick out the evil rightoids. And then the government thanks the leftoids by killing them. Okay, this is what she lays out.
Mm-hmm.
That's not at all what happened. Okay, what happened was after the Treaty of Versailles, it wasn't just like you have to pay back all this war reparation stuff. Part of the agreement was you have to massively downsize your army. Germany had to massively cut their army.
Why would they want them to do that after World War One? Oh, they started World War One. Oh, okay, exactly. I got you.
Right. So, they have to cut their army by a couple years or whatever in half or whatever it is, and so the government, which is kind of like it's like a center left government at the time, and so they go to one of their elite military forces and they tell the guy in charge, you have to disband, this your whatever the fuck, your squadron of it's 6,000 people or something. And what do you think the guy says in charge of his elite army force?
Well, if I spent all that time and effort building up an elite army force of 6,000 men, I would be kind of attached to them, Sitch. Mm-hmm. So anyone who told me to do that, I might give them the middle finger.
Yeah, and that's basically what happened. They said, no, fuck you, we're not going to disband. Oh, and by the way, I don't agree with this whole, Western democracy thing you're trying to do. I think we need to live under some kind of authoritarian dictatorship, which I just want to bring about with my elite army force.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. I don't understand. I'm the guy that has 6,000 fighters, and you're telling me what to do? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me here.
Right. And so this guy, whose name escapes me, and I probably couldn't pronounce anyway, basically they march into Berlin unopposed because the government's like, go fight them. And most of the soldiers don't want to fight them because either A, they don't want to fire on German troops, or because they're afraid of them because they're like, those are the top elite soldiers. We can't fight them. They're going to kick our ass. So basically they march into Berlin completely unopposed. The current government flees the capital and they take over the country.
Right.
And they want to institute sort of their weird, I don't know if it's fascist, but they want to have some kind of authoritarian dictatorship thing that they want to establish. And but the current government that flees, basically what they do is they say, hey, these people took over, they want to implement military rule, so let's just have a nationwide strike until they fuck off. And so the people who didn't vote for the military dictatorship and voted for the government that just got ousted said, okay, that's a good idea. So it's not like a band of fucking communists, okay? The majority of the country goes on strike in order to fuck over these people. Right. And guess what? It works.
They don't want to live under authoritarian rule, obviously.
Right.
They're I'll just stay home from work. How about that?
Yeah, how about that? Exactly.
It's a win-win.
And so the strike works. And the country comes to a grinding halt, and the authoritarian military guy can't enact what he wants to enact. Right. So he has to capitulate, and he has to basically agree to a bunch of things and give power back to the government, the elected government. Okay. So where do those leftists, these magical leftists that Philosophy Tube just mentioned, come in? Well, in a different region, this isn't in the capital, but in some different region in the country, while this is going on, there's a band of socialists who use this as an opportunity to say, hey, why don't we seize power?
Oh, shit. This is great. This is great.
Hey,
I'm drunk. Let's go seize power.
They're like, hey, look there's Johnny Fascist over there seizing power. Why don't we, Johnny Leftoid, seize power for ourselves? I mean, they're doing it. Why don't we do it?
Let's do it.
So and this coup only lasted for like 5 days. Okay, they take over very quickly, but then it falls apart, instantly.
Right. They start bickering over who gets to talk first.
Right. No. I mean the fascist authoritarian coup lasts for 5 days.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't have any support, basically, except for their own military unit. And so part of the agreement for the military leaders was that they were going to hold new elections like very soon. It's like a month or a couple of months or something, in order to reassess the direction the country wants to go in. And so the socialist group, who have now gathered their own kind of, militia military thing, they say, hey, fuck your elections. We want to be in charge. And they say, no, you can't do that. We're going to have new elections. And so the socialists say, fuck you. We're going to invade and we're going to take over now. And so then the government and some of the military unit that had took over, which has now capitulated and given up, did end up fighting the socialists, to prevent them from taking the fuck over Germany.
Right.
So that they could have elections where everyone voted.
So the government came back. They teamed up with the military and they kicked out the socialists.
Well, they prevented the socialists from taking over.
Right. So they never took power anyway.
Right.
So
everything I just said, all that context gets warped in Abigail's narrative to be like, no, there was these socialists, they kicked out the evil Nazis and the proto-Nazis, and then the evil
got zero thank you for it.
And got zero thanks, and then the evil government came over and kicked them out. And it's like, that's not at all what happened. It's so dishonest.
This is your brain on a narrative right here. Can't see past it.
And she's going to use that, her framing of this story, to justify this asshole who she's going to mention's like insane
proposal?
anarchical take on
I
on
gotcha.
everything. Right.
So he was wronged. She set it up so we're supposed to feel like he was morally wrong, so therefore justified in this weird take.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's supposed to be like, oh, this is why those dirty liberals, you can't trust them. You have to revolt. You cut a liberal and a fascist, please.
Oh wow.
And all that nonsense.
Yeah.
Brutally put down by the government they had just saved, working with some of the right-wing forces that launched the coup. So if the social contract was supposed to be replacing violence with politics, it didn't seem like it was working.
Fuck you. Because that's not what happened. What happened was you had an extreme right-wing force which violated the social construct. The social contract of politics with their violence. They violently take over through force. And then they're defeated, not through violence, but through civil disobedience.
Through staying home and relaxing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Laziness wins again.
Laziness? No. Let's not say laziness. They get defeated by grilling, okay? All the people that just wanted to grill stayed at home and they just grilled and they defeated the evil authoritarian military coup.
And they took a nap afterwards. It was great.
And then you have the fucking socialists come up and they say, well, we want to now violate the social contract with our violence.
The government construct.
I said contract.
That's social contract. Yes.
They violate the social contract and they say, we're going to be the violent ones. And the government says, no.
Yeah.
Fuck you. We're holding new elections and you can participate in them like everyone else. You don't get fucking special treatment. Fuck you. And they use the military against them. So no, fuck you, Abigail. with your
A lot of
face.
people were starting to suspect that actually the government was fine with violence as long as it's against communists. And as the
Oh my. Well, I mean, it's not untrue, right? I mean, a lot of people are fine with the government committing violence against communists.
Right. Yeah, she just but it's so disgusting. She leaves out that little fact. Oh, the communists wanted to like take the fuck over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's just leave that little bitty fact out of the equation.
Yeah, this is self-defense.
The old poem goes, first they came for the communists. Benjamin distinguishes between a few different types
And she
of violence.
dares
I
to
know.
compare that to the fucking Holocaust.
I know, totally.
That's
I
so
never
disgusting.
noticed that before.
What?
First they came for the communists. Because it ends right there. It could easily just end right there, right?
Well,
Because you don't have to do, once you got the communists out of the way, you're cool.
Well, that's the point. The point of the poem is that it was I think it was a preacher or a minister who was anti-communist.
Right.
He was German. He was anti-communist, and at first, that's was his exact thing. He's like, I don't care if they take the fucking dirty communists who want to destroy religion and all this other shit. And then when he saw that basically the Nazis were kind of subverting their own supremacy over God's supremacy and Christian supremacy, then he suddenly is like, oh shit.
Yeah, he realized they're coming for everyone.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought we were supposed to stop at the commies. What are you doing?